So I will tell you how I found my breeder. And first of all, I'm not an expert. I'm just telling you kind of my experience and how I found these wonderful Dalmatians that I have. So the first thing I did is I went through both the Dalmatian Club of America as well as our local Southern California Dalmatian Club, and I looked for breeders that were in my geographic location. So I think it's really important that when you're choosing a breeder that they do several things. So the first thing is you want to make sure that they do all of the proper health testing for your breed. And you're a national breed club, so for Dalmatians, it's the Dalmatian Club of America. They should have that information on their website, and you want to make sure that both the mom and the dad have had all of the proper health testing to make sure you have a healthy puppy. So the next thing is I think it's important that the dogs are like third-party tested, so to speak. So it's really important that dogs are judged on their conformation movement and temperament by a third party, which is why dog shows are important, I think. So if someone's saying like champion or grand champion lines, that's meaningless. That's like saying that someone's smart because their great-grandpa was a physicist. That's not how it works. So you want to make sure that both the parents were looked at and that they had fabulous temperaments, movements, and are champions or grand champions. So both of my dogs have grand champion parents. The next thing is that you want to look at the ethics of your breeder, and there's a few things that kind of play into that. So in general, a good breeder is breeding towards the standard. So they're trying to improve the breed. With every generation, they're trying to get closer and closer to what the breed standard lines out. So if you're going to a breeder that is breeding away from it, especially if they're doing it purposefully, this is never an ethical breeder. So in Dalmatians, the kind of shifty, shady things that we see are colors that are off standard. So Dalmatians come in two colors, that is black and liver. And if people are breeding orange, lemon, or purposefully trying to breed other crazy things, which I've seen, unethical breeder, don't go there. That is not what you want. And remember that the gene pool of some of these off-standard colors that used to be more common, that are very uncommon now, is very, very limited, so they're going to be genetic nightmares. You don't want these dogs anyway. And also long hair, that's another thing that is not in the Dalmatian breed. If you want a beautiful spotted long hair dog, then get a pointer, a well-bred pointer. It's a much better choice. And then I always look at how many litters they have. You know, someone who has repeated litters, who's breeding their dogs, 4 or 5 times or more, I don't think that's a good sign in my opinion. I would rather have someone who's very mindful about their breeding, and again, they're working to preserve the breed. They're not just making puppies for profit. So, and then finally, one of the big red flags that I saw when I was looking to get my dogs, and also I have purebred cats when I was looking at my cats, is I didn't see that any ethical breeders charge different prices for different types of dogs, boys, girls, or different colors. So if you see that, I'm not going to say always because I'm sure somewhere that exists with an ethical breeder, but in general, if you see that, it's not an ethical breeder. So ethical breeders don't do that. And then finally, just remember that the whole point of choosing a purebred dog over a rescue dog is that you want a known commodity and you have plans for that dog. You want it to be a certain way. And so by choosing a purebred dog like a Dalmatian from a good breeder, you are most likely to get a dog that is the breed standard, so you know what you're getting. If you don't go to a good breeder, you won't get that. And then it's like, why are you doing it in the first place? Just rescue a dog if that's the case. If you're not picky about it and you don't want to compete in certain dog sports and you don't want to compete in conformation, then rescue a dog instead. You are just feeding the beast when, oh sorry, reset my phone. You're just feeding the beast when you go to a bad breeder and support unethical breeders. So a preservation breeder I think is always the way to go. That's how I chose my breeder. Connie is amazing. She's been a great mentor through the whole process of me learning how to show my dogs and my daughter learning how to show our dogs. And like I said, she just produces the most amazing Dalmatians with the most amazing temperaments. Like this little guy right here, he's my sweet boy. All right, so hopefully I answered your question. Let me know if there's anything else.